we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of women being ordained as priests in the Church of England. I've come here to St Barnabas Church in Cambridge to meet Jane Keiller, who was part of that first cohort of women to be ordained at Ely Cathedral in May 1994. Jane, maybe you could tell us a bit about your journey before your ordination to the priesthood.
Well, yes, it's quite a long story. So I first sensed a call to ministry in the Church of England when I was a student training to be a teacher in Oxford, and I think it was 1973 or 74, and I was sitting one Sunday in St Ebb's Church in Oxford, and there was a woman at the front of the church in a blue cassock, and she said, "There are women in this congregation whom God is calling for full-time service." And I just thought, yeah. So I started the process of seeking to become a parish worker. I went to Cranmer Hall in Durham to train, and while I was there, it became possible to be selected to be a deaconess. So I went back for another selection and came here to Holy Trinity in 1980 to be the deaconess and university pastorate chaplain. But after 7 years as a deaconess, there was the opportunity to be ordained deacon. Being ordained deacon meant that we then became clerks in holy orders, and the main practical difference was that we were able to take weddings.
Skipping ahead to the vote at General Synod in 1992, what more can you tell us about that and how you were feeling around it?
The 11th of November 1992, my husband took the day off work to look after the children so that I could go to London and just to be there, but I met up with a close friend from college, and we spent the day mostly hanging around church house bookshops where we could hear the debate as it was going on, and then we went over the road while the counting was going on to Westminster Central Hall, and it was extraordinary. It was very tense and very overwhelming, really, when we realised how many people there were outside. We could hear people, and when it became clear that the vote had gone through, it was extraordinary. Wonderful.
Thinking about the ordination day itself in 1994, can you tell us a bit about what the atmosphere was like?
I was priested at Ely Cathedral I think there were 25 of us, on May the 28th, 1994, and that was a wonderful occasion. There were so many people, and I have this vivid memory of standing by the door of the Lady Chapel. The procession had all gone outside to come in through the west door, and I just remember standing next to Bishop Stephen Sykes and him saying, "They've turned the corner." And it was remarkable because there were just so many people in the procession, and there was just an overwhelming sense of being part of something that was really wonderful, and it just felt so much love and so much support, and people who'd been there for us for so long. It was a very special occasion.
And how did you celebrate after the service itself?
So after the service, we came back here to St Barnabas and had a meal all together. And then the next morning, it was Trinity Sunday, and I presided for the first time here at St Barnabas, and that was a very, very moving. Yes, I had actually, I thought it would be totally overwhelming. And I can remember asking lots of friends to pray that I wouldn't cry. And actually I didn't cry, but lots of people in the congregation did. That nearly set me off.
How did your ministry change in practical terms from before your ordination to afterwards?
My husband was a water engineer before he retired, so we have spent some time overseas, and so I had opportunities to minister in Oman for a couple of years, and to a lesser extent in Kuala Lumpur. When we came back from Kuala Lumpur, we had some time at Christ the Redeemer, and shortly after that, two things happened. One is I became the chaplain and tutor in prayer at Ridley Hall and was there for 17 years. And I also was part of the teaching team for the spiritual direction course here in Cambridge, and those two ran parallel for many years and have brought much blessing as far as I've been concerned.
And finally, what advice would you give to any women who are just starting out on their journey and maybe thinking about pursuing ordination themselves?
I would say take time to pray. Pray about it and talk to as many people as you can who are ministering in different ways. It's a wonderful, wonderful calling. You see lives changed, people transformed, God at work, the faithfulness of God.